Hey, I'm Daryl Todd. I'm with Frontline Machinery. Today we're going to be showcasing one of Keestrack's most popular crushers. It's the compact R3 Destroyer. What that is, it's a horizontal shaft impact crusher. It's primarily used in concrete and asphalt recycling, but is also being used widely in natural stone applications as well. Right now we're in the feed hopper, at this portion of the feed hopper just prior to the material entering the impact crusher. So what you can see here, Keestrack has not gone with a symmetrical design here. It's actually been engineered to be asymmetrical. So, and people ask me why is that? And the reason that is, the reason that the machine is designed this way is when you get an elongated piece of concrete or asphalt or rock that is coming down the feed channel, with the feed hopper being asymmetrical, the rock or the concrete hits this first, turns that piece, and then it goes through the crusher without jamming up. And that's something that's unique to Keestrack that they've designed. It's just another example of a very well thought out machine to overcome a very common problem, which is bridging and jamming in these feed hoppers. Now the other thing that we can that we're looking at here is the pre-screen area of the feeder. Now this is a punch plate pre-screen. It can easily be swapped for various sizes. In this particular machine here, we've got a 40 millimeter opening, which is a very popular size for us, but we can go up to, like, say, a 3-inch 75 mil opening, or down to, we can even run a completely blanketed off area if we were just crushing everything down to, say, 3/8 minus. Underneath these wear liners, the actual entire hopper frame is manufactured from AR 450 as well. Something that nobody else does. So in this feed floor here, the feed floor vibrates independently from the hopper sidewalls, and what that does is it helps break up the material and release it to get a good flow heading in towards the pre-screen area of the crusher. So one of the things you'll notice when you look at the Keestrack machines is the fit and finish. Keestrack goes through a very intensive process to finish their machines. So the steel is sandblasted, then it goes through a process where they zinc coat it from a corrosion protection standpoint, and then it goes to the powder coating oven. So every single component, including the frames, any smaller parts you might see, has all been powder coated. And that really gives the machines a fit and finish that's going to last for many years to come. So right now we're standing in front of the crusher housing, the impact crusher housing. What we're looking at here is the safety inspection hatch. So I'm just going to open this up. This is what we typically do on a daily basis, just to check the condition of the blow bars in the crushing chamber. It's fairly simple. Here is the safety right here. If this is unhinged, the crusher won't start. All right, so now that we've got the crusher hatch opened up, we can see the lower apron and the upper apron. And we can also see one of the blow bars. So it makes it very easy to go in there and do a visual inspection of the crushing chamber to make sure that everything's in good shape. We can also, as we rotate the impactor, we can then take a measurement and look at check the settings, the gaps on the impact crusher. Keestrack's made it relatively easy to do these inspections, and on this particular hammer mill we're running what we call 2 high bars and 2 low bars. That's a typical setup in a recycling, asphalt or concrete recycling application. So there you can see I've just, in a matter of a few seconds, I've been able to do a visual check on all 4 of the blow bars and check the crushing chamber, and we know we're good to go now. Just literally, it takes just a daily check, 2 or 3 minutes a day to do the inspection. As you can see on the inside here too, everything's got bolt-on replaceable wear liners on the whole interior of this crushing chamber, making replacement of interior wear plates very, relatively simple and straightforward. We've also got a lower inspection hatch that we can use if we need to. One of the interesting things about the entire impact crusher housing, the entire crusher housing is manufactured from Hardox 450 steel. It's a very, very high strength steel. You also notice that the spindles for the lower crushing aprons are mounted to the exterior of the crusher housing. And the reason they do this is the sidewalls of the crusher housing have an incredible amount of strength. And so all the crushing forces are then transferred to the sidewalls as opposed to the back walls of the impact housing. So a lot of impact crushers, the crushing forces are transferred to the back wall of the impact crusher, and what ends up happening over time, because there's a lot of stress on those areas, the back wall of the impact housing can actually start to give way, and from stress cracks fall apart. So Keestrack's come up with a very innovative way to handle those forces by mounting the springs to the exterior of the crusher housing. So here in the background we have the magnet. This is another very innovative feature from Keestrack on the R3. As you can see, the magnet here is hydraulically adjustable. That means we can lower or raise the magnet depending on what we want to do. So if there is a jam up, we can raise the magnet, clear the jam out, then lower it back down. The other thing that you can't tell just by looking at it is that the magnet, the entire frame of the magnet is made from stainless steel. And the reason they do this is, as opposed to using mild steel, is that stainless steel is not magnetic, so it does not take away from the magnetic forces of the overband magnet. Keestrack also manufactures this section of the frame from stainless steel as well, and that is also to not take away from the power of the overband magnet. So you'll find that the magnets on these machines are extremely effective, pulling out almost 100% of the steel that comes in the outfeed material. So the Keestrack R3, like the other Keestrack impactors in the family, it is a direct drive system. So it uses what we call a hydrodynamic clutch or a turbo clutch. So there's a direct power transfer from the engine to the rotor. There's very little loss of power like there would be through a hydraulic drive system. From a maintenance standpoint, we can manually disengage the rotor. So that means we can start the engine up to move the crusher and the rotor is not engaged. When we do want to engage the rotor, when we're going to produce, it's simply a matter of reaching in, pulling the lever, flipping it over, and now we're in the engaged position and ready to start crushing. So one of the things we really like about the Keestrack crushers and screeners, indeed all their entire product lineup, is that they've really thought about it from a practical standpoint. I mean, the fact is, when you're crushing or screening, there's a lot of maintenance that goes along with it. So they've done a really good job of making sure that everything that you need to access from a daily checkpoint standpoint, like checking your fluids and checking your blow bars, checking all your wear parts, everything's very accessible. As you can see here, like even the air cleaner, you don't have to go inside the machine. You can simply access it from the exterior of the machine to do a checkup. To get inside to where the engine compartment is, it's simply open a hatch here. We can walk in and within a matter of seconds, we can be in and inspecting anything that we need to inspect inside the engine compartment. So inside here we've got what we call a Combi cooler. It's a hydraulic oil in the water cooler. So this opens up in a matter of minutes, and both those coolers can slide out, can be high pressure washed with a steam pressure washer for cleaning. Very easy from a maintenance standpoint as well here. So another thing that makes Keestrack unique is the use of their intelligent hydraulic system. What Keestrack uses is a load sensing piston pump hydraulic system. One of the reasons for this is it's between 20 to 30% more fuel efficient than a standard gear pump. It also means that we need much less hydraulic oil capacity in the machines. So our hydraulic oil reservoirs are literally about 50 to 60% smaller than other machines in this category. Which in a cold weather application, the less hydraulic oil you have to heat and worry about, it's very, very beneficial. In fact, I've got a customer in Saskatchewan I was speaking to earlier today, and they're operating one of these machines in a -27 Celsius environment. So now that we've got the crusher opened up in what we refer to as the maintenance position, we can see the rotor. Now, as you can see, the rotor is an extremely heavy-duty build. In fact, this is one of the key factors that makes this crusher incredibly productive for its size. If we look at this rotor compared to other horizontal shaft impactors in its class, the rotational force, or also known as the flywheel effect, of this particular rotor is about 80% higher than other impactors. And the reason this is if you take a look at the weight of this rotor, it's over 1,000 kilograms heavier than anything else in its class. Now, if you look at the blow bars themselves, this is a 4-bar rotor. Each one of these bars weighs 230 kilograms as well. Other impactors, competing brands, their blow bars range from 160 to 182 kilograms. You can see on the Keestrack rotor, it's almost a square design. These are replaceable wear parts in here, so instead of having to hard surface or build up the rotor, we can simply switch out a wear plate. The blow bars are very easy to access for doing routine replacements or flipping. As you can see, we've worn down the leading edge on this bar, so once this bar is worn down, it'll be removed, flipped, and put back into the rotor to use up the other half. With the Keestrack blow bar design, coupled with the way that they've designed the rotor, we get extremely high utilization out of our blow bars, typically up to about 60% of the original weight of the bar is consumed during the crushing process. So when you start looking at all these little details that we've gone over in the machines, it really shows that Keestrack is living up to their tagline, or their what you might say their motto, performance in every detail. Many of these things are not visible to you as you walk around the machines. You might say they're almost subtle or hidden details, but when all these details come together, it makes a huge impact at the end of the day on the performance of the machines and ultimately your cost per ton.